Hello guys, today we're gonna create a front end utilizing pure JavaScript or vanilla JavaScript, creating a Gmail UI like structure. The Python code is already created and the API is also created. We'll just handle everything using pure JavaScript from now. So how do we do this? Let's do this. First, we need to migrate our database using our template that CS50 already provided for us. We proceed to make migrations. Then let's migrate. After we migrate our database, let's run our server. Then let's see what do we have here. As you can see, we have here a pure basic template here. According to the documentation of CS50, we must create a email here. After we register, we can log in. Let's register. So we encounter an error. Though this is just a template, why do we have this? According to the documentation, this is error happened because we have not fully make migrations and migrate our. I think we need to force make migrations to the name of our project. That's it. Now our model is user is created, so now we can create our email. Run again the migrate. So we encountered again an error. Let's fix this. According to the documentation, since we applied the migrate before we had even made migrations, our SQLite database must be first removed, then restart again the migration, have a new fresh DB once again. So right now we're going to remove our SQLite database and restart again the process of make migrations and migrate. And once we have that, let's start again our make migrations and migrate. Let's do this. Run once again our server. Let's try once again to register. Once we register, let's see, and we're good. This is now our default template that we will work on. We're going to populate these buttons as we go throughout this journey. Let's go. First, let's just scan what our initial template has for us. So we have here our inbox.js. I think most of our project will take place editing this inbox.js for our JavaScript. Then we have our urls.py. Our template also did the work for us to have this pre-existing routes that we have, calling also our views. All the Python code is already created here. We just need to connect this Python code into our JavaScript and our API calls. Also our modules.py we have here. Here we have a div for emails view, which will be toggled by our query selector emails view. And also we have a compose view. The reason why our emails view is in black because of this style that display. Our default inbox doesn't show anything. Let's try triggering this compose email function to our console.log. Let's try running this compose email. I see. So when you click compose, this is triggered. So when we run load mailbox, load mailbox, we need a parameter. So in compose email, this happens. Next, we're gonna find what's inside our buttons. Where is it? So in our layout, we have these buttons: ID, compose, send, archive. So later we're gonna create functions in JavaScript which triggers these IDs and add event listeners to them. Here guys, we need to understand what does this every button do. So according to the documentation, the API behind this project is already created. We just need to connect the API to our UI and let be rendered depending on what is needed. So first, our inbox displays nothing. We need to put all of our mailbox or mails and render this inside this inbox UI. First, we need to go to our document event listener for DOM content loaded, meaning once this page loads, the function inside this will be triggered. So what happened inside this DOM content loaded is just we add this event listeners to these buttons. This inbox, sent, archive, and compose are these four buttons, meaning this load mailbox inbox is the default function that DOM content loaded loads when initial page starts up. Load mailbox inbox. That's also the reason why this inbox is has this kind of inner HTML. So once we go to that function, mailbox, this mailbox params is meaning the inbox. This inner HTML is just capitalization of the smaller case inbox and letter I has been uppercase, as you can see inside here. So below this inbox, we need to show all of the mails that we have in our API. How do we do that? We need to use Fetch API, a built-in ability in JavaScript, where we can access our API and fetch the backend. Also, according to the specification, we just need to use vanilla JavaScript regarding this one. We don't need to install third-party libraries. We use Fetch as is. That's why we are using Fetch API as is. According to the documentation of Fetch API, this is our URL. Then we use asynchronous JavaScript telling the browser, hey, fetch the data by accessing this URL, and once you are done, you are to process this into a JSON response. Third, after you are done with that, while the other JavaScript or UI is still loading, you can then process it into an email. So emails is our decision or our created variable. And we're gonna see if it fetch something by console logging this emails object if it has any data. Where did I get this API route get request? It's stated in our else route in our Django API routes. It says that this email get request is our email saying, hey, once you access this email, you're gonna go and fetch all the available emails if there is any. Actually, I'm just testing this one if what's inside this API routes. In a real world setup, you don't really know everything what is happening. You just need to connect the dots and console log your way out so that you know what happens when you trigger this function, when you click this button, and from there on, you make the decisions based on the design on what you want to do to your projects. For me, all of these routes are created, and I don't know everything what these routes are going to do. So, what's the best way to know what these routes do? Let's access this and see if it fetches something. Let's do this.